And we're rolling.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. We actually been slacking, and I actually blame Frank for that
If you say so.
because he's been so busy that we haven't had the opportunity to record. And now I'm back in Toronto, and
Well, I
he's
was
still in
getting ready
Los
for my
Angeles.
trip. I was getting ready for
Yes.
my trip. You were getting ready for your trip. You might be a little too
My,
close to your mic, by the way. You're peaking
mm, what's is that better?
a little bit.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Take two. Just kidding. We'll keep going.
All right. So, per usual, we have some things planned, but winging most of it. I actually do have a couple of questions for Frank that we left off from the last podcast, and mainly because I feel like so many people ask about this, especially people that continuously, I mean, I feel like it's like politics in the sense you hear things on the news. It's not necessarily accurate. So, we're talking about we're gonna
What
talk
did you
about
hear? What did you hear on the news?
no, it's not the news. It's just
Oh,
like XRP and like your thoughts and your opinions on that like coin, on that, you know? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they hear about crypto nowadays, like all of my friends at least that are hearing about what it is like they just know like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP,
yeah. So
Doge. They know like those
those are the
types, you know
main
what I
ones.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of those are like in the top 10. So
Yeah.
obviously the ones, and when I say top 10, I mean by market cap, meaning, uh, if you get the number of coins times the price of what the coin is, that's how you get the market cap. So, and generally it means that there's more money in that. So like the market cap of Bitcoin is somewhere around $2 trillion. So that means there's $2 trillion in that project. Well, in Bitcoin. And same thing with XRP. I think it's somewhere around 100 million something, or sorry, 100 billion. Let me check that. $158 billion. So generally, projects with a high market cap are, you know, in the news, that people talk about them because they're being used, or a lot of people are in the project. Um, Dogecoin being one with a very high market cap, and for a meme coin, it's the largest one. And by meme coin, it just really doesn't do anything. It's just
But would you consider
um
like Doge to still be a meme coin, or do you think that
yes,
now it's
it
kind of
is.
like,
It is.
but do you
It
think
is.
it's a sustainable meme coin, is what I'm saying? Like if someone
um
were to invest in it, is that
yeah,
like a smart move or is it like not?
um I don't see it going up that much more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could. What is it? Somewhere around like 23 cents or something like that, or like it may go to $1, but the thing is, it doesn't really do much. Like its project isn't anything beyond um, a place to you can buy things with it. So it is like money, and you're able to spend it on things. Like I've used it before. I've um if say I bought, or I got a subscription to a VPN once, and I saw as an option to use crypto, and I saw that the options were like a few different kinds of coins, and Dogecoin was the fastest and cheapest to use. So I had some, and I just like paid for the subscription with it, and it worked well. And so yeah, you can, and there are, um, I guess, rumors that maybe Elon Musk might implement a payment system within X, and it's probably likely that Doge will be in there, as well as probably some other crypto. And yeah, if you bought some now, it would be like investing in, some sort of money that will be worth, like, it's like, imagine that you're gonna be using cars. Like, it's before cars are a thing. People are in horse and buggy right now,
Mm-hmm.
and cars are gonna be a thing, and you know that they're gonna need fuel for the cars. So you're like, well, no one's using fuel right now, or no one's using gasoline right now. I can buy it a little bit cheaper now before the prices start going up. So yeah, you might be able to get some Doge a little cheaper if you plan on using it in electronic payments system. So I could see that. But to go back to your point about XRP, or your question about XRP, um, I'm distrustful of XRP. It's very centralized. Um, the company Ripple, I don't know that I trust what they're doing. Um, they gave a whole lot of money to the to Kamala Harris's campaign, but you might be able to argue, well, other crypto companies gave money to maybe Trump's campaign. The difference is that Trump was running on more of like a freedom campaign, and bringing power back to people, and um, to just have companies be able to not necessarily do what they want, but to let the markets decide. Whereas like Kamala really was uh, about control, and even though she didn't say that, but their whole administration was giving more power to the banks, and it really was a system of control. And the fact that XRP is really in bed with all the big banks just kind of solidifies that a little bit more for me. Like, XRP is the number one payment system within the banks, within their internal systems. So I it just makes me distrustful to give
Mm-hmm.
more power to them. Like, that's why I'm in Bitcoin, because I'm not relying on anyone. It's really taking your
Yeah.
money out of the system, and you 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 don't have a bank being able to say, like, whether you can bank with them or not, or they don't like your politics, so we're gonna debank you, or we're gonna hold your funds because you participated in the trucker rally in Canada, like, or we don't like your company, you're doing crypto, we don't like that, so we're not gonna let you bank with us. Or you saw it with weed companies. The reason why they worked with all cash in California, even though it was legal in California, it was federally illegal. None of the banks would work with them, so they had to deal in cash.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's it.
Well, see, I think that's the whole point is like the reason why people go into crypto and stuff like into Bitcoin is the fact that you have control over your own money in
Well,
the first place.
there's two people. There's the gamblers, and then there's the ones who are in it for freedom. And um, some people get
Some
into
people
it
are
because,
both.
yeah. So, well, but some people think that, oh, I heard you can make money real quick in it, and they don't really understand. it, and they try to just jump in and make some money and try to sell out. But there's other people who see it as a way for freedom, um, and financial freedom, as far as like being able to, uh, you know, you see the value before most of the rest of the world does. So you're getting
Mm-hmm.
in early, and so you are being able to grow your money that way as well, and the freedom to do with it as you please.
Mm-hmm. So this is a question for, I guess, new, investors,
Yeah.
people who are
And
interested in crypto and
al-
all of that. Yeah.
also, I want to say that there's a lot of people who don't understand how market caps work, and so they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, well, uh, XRP is going to go to $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 a coin, so better get in." It can't get to $10,000 a coin. You know, when people are saying this, they really don't understand that the market cap would be astronomical. It would be beyond what, all the money in the world if it went to $10,000 a coin. So
Mm-hmm.
it being such a high market cap, um, it can't go that much more. It can, like, it being 158 billion with Ethereum, I think is around maybe 400 billion, and Ethereum is the second highest. Like it's never going to get to Bitcoin like 2 trillion. Like,
Okay.
um,
With crypto for dummies. You have to explain what a market cap is
I just
for
did before.
people, but try to describe it in like a level that a sixth grader would understand.
Well, it's the amount of the crypto. So if you had, if you started a project and there was, and you said, okay, there's only 10 coins, you know, obviously with Bitcoin there's 21 million, but if you said there's only 10 coins, right? And you said that there's, $100 total market cap, or each one of these coins are worth, $10. So you had 10 of them, and they're worth $10. The total market cap would be 10 times 10. It's 100. So it'd be $100 market cap. So it's like adding up all the coins in your pocket. So if you had, um, quarters, 25-cent quarters, right, in your pocket, and you had four of them, now you have $1. So the market cap of whatever that would be, you know what I mean? That's fourth
So,
grade level. But in like high school level, it'd be like, you know, if Apple stock, the company of Apple, I think, I don't know how many shares that they have, but they divide up the shares, and then each one is worth a certain amount, and then their company, I think, is worth 2 trillion. So the company itself is worth 2 trillion or somewhere like that. Maybe it's 1.8 or whatever it is, but it's like the value of the company itself. So it's the market cap is similar to the value of a company, and
hmm.
so they have the shares divided up, and then each share is worth however much. But it all adds up to the market cap.
Okay, so if you were starting off, okay, what would you invest in that wasn't Bitcoin? Like what altcoins would you invest in now?
So if you have a lot of money, yes, it's Bitcoin because it's the safest. It's going to be long term, but you're not going to, you know, quadruple your money. You know, like it's not going to grow very fast, but it's going to
What would
grow.
be a lot
Yeah,
for people like what would you consider to be a lot? Like the right amount to invest in Bitcoin.
like tens of thousands. So like
Okay.
if you had 50,000 to, you know, millions, maybe then it's, you know, it's safer to put it into Bitcoin. That's your
Hmm.
nest egg. If you're, but if you had you know, a couple like 20,000 or less, something like that. If you had like 40,000, maybe put half in Bitcoin and then the rest in these other coins, so at least you have a safe haven. Um, and then, at least you'll most like so if you had 40,000 or something like that and you put
Hmm.
20 into Bitcoin, most likely Bitcoin will double. So you kind of saved yourself from there. At least you'll break even if the other stuff just disappears, but it
Hmm.
shouldn't. And then the rest you're kind of, gambling on more risky stuff, but that money could exponentially grow. And I would focus more on narratives and and this cycle, like last cycle, the narrative was NFTs. Everyone heard of NFTs. That was like a big thing. And the like the metaverse crap, you know what I mean? Like everyone heard of that nonsense, but that was the narrative. This cycle, the narrative is AI, which we know AI is big. So there's a lot of projects that deal with AI and RWAs, which is real world assets, um, things that have crypto projects but are connected to real things, or you know like for example, Filecoin is something where you use your hard drive space. You're basically renting it out in the real world. um, there's like Render, which is something where you're renting out your computer power to render things, which is an AI thing because people are using computing power to render or to train AI models and stuff like that. So that's another. Render is probably one of my favorite projects on this cycle. Um, but real and because it does AI and real world assets.
So let's say
Uh,
top five. If someone were to invest, if they had $20,000,
I
top five.
um I would say Render being one, AI and real world asset. I really like Ondo. My friend literally just texted me like as you're asking me to say, "Dude, Ondo is gonna explode," and I'm like, I know. It's Ondo is one of my favorite too because it's in DeFi, decentralized finance, um, and it's big, like highly connected with BlackRock, which is one of the largest financial institutions. They're managing like $10 trillion. So that I think, and this is its first cycle, so I think it's going to really do well. Um, what else? I like Chainlink. It's another good one that's on my list. I still like FET, which is the what is it? Something artificial intelligence super or artificial super intelligence. I forget what it's the full name because they changed it. It was FET. It was like three different projects merged into one, but I think the ticker for it is still FET. Um, what else? I like ICP, which is Internet Computer Protocol or something like that. And it's like a decentralized internet thing. It's just I think it's cool. It's a cool project. I think it has potential, but sometimes projects that still have the best technology still don't do the best, like because it's all hype. It's all what people might focus on a stupid meme coin that does nothing just because it's all hyped up and all the money flows into it, where there's another project that's actually doing something people are working on, but those people are good at tech and they're working on stuff. They're not good at promotions. So
Hmm.
um yeah, we have like 10 minutes left, but
We do.
We've been talking about crypto this whole time.
Yes, which is good because I did say that one of the episodes are going to be more crypto focused just for a good starting point for people to understand what to invest in, like what crypto kind of is, which we've gone through, as well as understanding things like market cap and all of that because people see it as kind of just like, oh, well, this has this much or so it must mean that it's gonna kind of go through the roof or whatever without fully understanding it. So
Well,
it's
to your point too, just because you see something going up does not mean you should be jumping in like that. That's when it's already going. Do not chase anything.
hmm
You want to make sure. The saying is buy low, sell high, but it sounds obvious. But everyone always chases something as it's going up. They see it going up and they want to get into it. They FOMO into it, fear of missing out. But as um, Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful while others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." So when the markets are crashing and they're very low, that's when you want to get into the projects that you've heard about and know are good projects. When everyone's scared and they're like, "Oh my God, it's going to zero," that's when you should be buying.
hmm
So, and
You
then
heard it
be
here
patient.
first.
Be patient
I
when it
think
goes
Frank
down.
needs that one. Be patient.
Yeah. But I do have two other topics I wanted to quickly go over. One was RFK's confirmation and Doge going into like USAID, USAID and stuff like that. So some political things. So
Okay, so since we're still talking about crypto, let's get that um, you know, to do a little fade out to talk about RFK, as well as we're gonna kind of end it with talking about the whole egg situation, revisiting that. So, yes, take it away.
well, do you know what's happening with USAID, the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon, kind of going in there and cleaning up the
I mean,
government
I've
in the
heard.
U.S. What have you
How,
heard? Tell me what you heard.
see, that's the thing. Like, it's not like I've heard what he's doing and like how it, like, what the average person has heard. I'm not a huge, like, I'm not really informed when it comes to what Elon is doing in the governmental system.
Well, here's kind of the debate. So it's they are sending in Doge to audit all these different departments and try to figure out where there's waste, where there's corruption, where there's stupid spending on things that just don't make any sense. And it seems like they kind of set a trap that was they paused all these payments just to see, just so they can figure out what's going on. And no, they did not pause payments on like benefits, things that are important. Like I heard that people are trying to say that they're pausing payments on like women, infants, and children's programs and the food stamps and stuff. They did not do any of
The
that.
lies we hear.
And
Yeah.
they paused these payments and they waited to see who would circumvent the pauses. And the thing that kept coming up the most was USAID, this branch of something that was like supposed to be paying out all this stuff. And I guess it seems like it was a front. Like they did some good things. They were giving money to some good programs, but also they were laundering a lot of money by doing a lot of stupid, fraudulent stuff and funneling it back to politicians. And apparently, it seems like the CIA was using a lot of this, and yeah, so they're trying to shut it down. Um, some of the people are upset. They're like, well, we don't like how they're doing it, and they're getting mad that it should be that they're shutting it down. Like, oh, you can't just shut down the whole program. How are we gonna, pay for the things that we wanted to pay, like the good programs? And I don't know. My way of looking at it is like this: if you have a corrupt, uh, you know, front for like corruption. Say you had like a laundry business or a car wash, like in whatever, it's like and you're really dealing drugs out of it,
We're gonna keep
and
tabs here. Like we're gonna do a drinking game with of Frank's analogies. This is the third analogy that he's done.
I like you. Well,
It's just
it's
gonna
a good
be
way to explain to children, as you said. But if you had a criminal organization that had a laundromat that was a front for like drug dealers, and then you try to shut it down. Like, we found you were dealing drugs out of this place, and you're like trying to shut it down. And people show up and they're like, but how are we going to do our laundry? Well, we're not trying to stop you from doing laundry. We'll go to a different laundromat. It's like, so any of the stuff that if they were giving money to real places through USAID, we'll just move that to a different department. But we got to
Mhm.
shut it down because they were doing fraudulent stuff out of there. Um, so yeah, that's my take on that. Well, and now they're gonna do a audit on the IRS and the Pentagon, and I mean it's gonna be everything. So this is exactly why they were afraid of having Trump in there, because no one wants to have their dirty laundry aired to the public.
Mhm.
I mean, they're stealing our money and they're doing all kinds of stuff with it. And we all knew that. Everybody
Well,
knows the government is
that's the
stealing your
thing.
money,
Mm, I feel like not a
wasting
lot
it.
of people, but not a lot of people understand the stealing the money thing, and a lot of people are still like paying taxes.
Yeah, but
You know,
it's not so. But they think every time you say, "Hey, they're stealing your money and whatever about paying taxes," everyone says, "Oh, but that's how they pave the roads." And no, they pave the roads through your car tax. When you pay taxes on your car every year. That's how they do that. And yeah, there's some necessary taxes, but
yeah,
they're taking like a third of your paycheck. You're working for 3 months out of the year for free, and they're
it's
just wasting
like
it.
here's an analogy. It's
Well, you are.
like
You're literally working for free. Yeah,
you're giving $20,000 to a 5-year-old.
2 minutes.
Well, we're gonna have to restart it to the
All
next
right.
one to finish up the
All right.
point. But yeah, so you're giving you're giving $20,000 to a 5-year-old and telling them to spend it wisely, and they spend it all on candy.
Yeah, but it's worse than that. What it is that you've given them a bunch of money, and they keep getting this money, so they're going to spend it. So they spend it on all kinds of crap on purpose, so that way they can warrant you continuously giving them that much money, and the crap is funneling back to them. They're laundering it back. So if you cut it off, they'll stop spending it. If you stop the spending and you cut out all their programs and all their like bullshit stuff,
Pause.
RFK.
Okay. We were first about like finishing up the stealing the money. That's where we were at.
Let's make it quick.
Yeah.
I got shit to do. I got a trip to finish up getting ready for. So where exactly were we?
We were talking about how people are like misguided about what's actually happening with their money. Which
Okay.
I think like even though people say like, oh yeah, the government's like stealing our money, I don't think people know like the full fact of what actually is going on. And like but the way you're speaking, like for example, like if we didn't have taxes and we only had like tax on certain type of things. I don't know if we're ever gonna see that world.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I don't know if we're
the
ever gonna see like a world where the government isn't uh like mishandling money and
well, the more that you give them, the more they're going to use it and take
so
it.
what
Like,
would be the solution is
take it
my
all
question.
away, stop it, and see what the
So like
less
if
you get.
everybody just stopped paying tax like a protest to the government.
I mean, what are they gonna do? But they could force everybody. I mean, you could. The thing is, the more people that wake up to this whole idea that, like, first of all, income tax didn't exist before 19, I think 12 or something like that. So,
Yeah, you said 1913. That's what you
well,
told
I think
me.
it was around 12 or 13. I think the Fed started in the 1913, and it. I mean, originally they had some income tax, but it was
Mm-hmm.
primarily for, like, for example, the Civil War. The Civil
Mm-hmm.
War happened. We were indebted to, paying to for the war, um, and they started an income tax to pay off what we owed. It just, I think
Mm-hmm.
it was like 2% or 3% or something. It was like nothing. And what did they do as soon as the war was paid off? They stopped.
Yeah.
It was over. Like, they stopped the income tax, and but and I think around 2012 they started up again, and I I don't know. There's so many ways the government just steals your money, and I I don't know what to do about it. But again, they paid for it with tariffs. They were paying for most of everything in this country with through tariffs. So there's a debate on both sides as to what's a better thing, but at least with tariffs, you decide if you don't want certain goods, you don't pay for those goods that because they say, oh, your tariffs, like, you're paying for that. They pass that on to you. But if you don't want to pay for those goods that have the tariffs on it, it's your choice. You don't have to. Whereas, like, an income tax is like the government is just taking your money as you're working, which is really slavery, because you're working for free. And I get it. The government does some things for us, but some of the stuff that they've been doing with our money, especially sending it overseas to to help people, is crap. How many countries tax their citizens and send it to America to help us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the money we sent to Ukraine would would have solved our homeless issue, would have solved our fed all the hungry in our country. Like, so
And then people see it as, but America is the richest
richest country
country.
well, I'm not. You're not. I mean, the people here are not rich. We're struggling. The country is doing well. There are people with a lot of money, but most of our citizens are not wealthy. And why are we helping everyone else? You're taxing those people who are already not the wealthy people, and you're giving it to other countries. Like, we need help here first.
Exactly.
Use our money to make us a little bit more stable before we start helping out other people or other
Mm-hmm.
countries.
All right. Now that we got that, our hour
Especially
long.
especially the politicians who are, like, funneling it back to themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Moving on.
Speaking of,
RFK just got confirmed as the HHS, Health and Human Services, the head of that. That's pretty awesome.
that's big. Yeah.
I mean, he's labeled as a conspiracy theorist and
Anti-vaxxer.
anti-vax, which he continuously says over and over. I'm not anti-vax, and obviously it's
But
the
that's the thing. As soon as you disagree with like a small percentage, you are anti-vax. That's how they do it. Like I know a lot of people that consider me anti-vax, and I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about my personal opinions, and I'm like, sure, there are certain vaccines out there that are fine. It's the excessive amount. It's the boosters. It's all of those things that we do not need, and that also not a lot of them are healthy for you.
well.
That
Let me
actually,
quickly
yeah.
explain something about RFK's position on some of this. From my understanding, his position is that first of all, pharmaceutical companies are not legally responsible. They cannot be legally held accountable for vaccine injuries. If they release a vaccine and someone gets hurt by it or something happens to them, legally they can't be sued. They can't be held responsible. So they can put out whatever they want and not
Yeah.
be held, accountable. So RFK Jr. his stance is like we can't, because they can't be held responsible. They push out so many vaccines because they can make money on it, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, there's no real testing on them. So he's like, we need to have better testing on these, and they need to be held accountable if there are injuries. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, Big Pharma doesn't like that. And so they have a lot of money, so they can spend a whole lot of money to spread whatever kind of bullshit they want about this guy to stop him
The
from holding
yeah.
them accountable. So,
But the reason being again is all money. Everything is money at the end of the day.
yep.
If they are held accountable, they can't sell you more solutions.
And our
Forever you will be kept under the system as a sick person.
yep,
If
yeah.
something does happen, you will forever be giving money to these bigger corporations instead of
They want a subscription service. They don't want you healthy.
exactly.
And so RFK is way more than just a vaccine guy. He's
Yeah,
like he's
yeah,
fighting for all kinds of stuff. Like he literally wants you healthy,
yeah.
and that's exactly what the pharmaceutical companies don't want. So he's a huge threat to their business model, which is keeping you sick.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
I think it's great having him in there.
Yeah, I
Um,
am excited to see what's gonna happen with the changes and stuff like in the food industry and with all of like the legal preservatives and dyes and stuff that are in
right.
food in America, to see like what's gonna happen if it's kind of gonna become a little bit more I guess almost like Europe in the sense of food, like how things are more whole foods and less chemical, you know. So we could only
Hopefully,
hope, but it's
yeah.
like I'm an optimist in a lot of ways, but a pessimist in when it comes to like the government and society because I don't really think like it's wonderful. It would be wonderful if all of these things were to be fixed, but I feel like
You
there's
mean like
such a
they weren't
long way.
poisoning us through our food?
Well,
So we
yeah,
have
yeah,
like
100%,
they're
yeah.
it's like they poison us through the food so that we have to go to the pharmaceutical companies to get like fixed for the
Yeah,
rest of our lives.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'll be pretty cool to not have to scrutinize every single label, but we probably still will, even we still won't trust it.
I wouldn't I like I that I can't have blind trust in that. No matter if it
No.
does get fixed, like I think I'll always be skeptical to look at the back and read the ingredients.
Yeah, I'll never trust. I mean, once you know, kind of poison someone. So when I was younger, I grew up in Rhode Island, as you know, but my the water in Westerly, Rhode Island, was supposed to be some of the best in the world. We have like granite mines and whatnot. I don't know. That I think that had something to do with it. And at some point, an animal fell into the city water supply and died, and contaminated the water, and people were getting sick, and we just didn't know about it for so long, and here we were just drinking it, and this whole time, and then they were like, oh, you need to go boil your water and don't even bathe in it, and but for weeks we didn't know, and we went back to drinking again, and then it happened a second time. Same thing. So after that, like I never ever drank from the tap ever again in my adult life. Like even through my childhood. After that, I was like, just the thought of drinking dead animal water twice. Like I was like, nope, I don't trust him. I do not trust him. So
Yeah, that's traumatic. Actually, speaking of water and things like that, like ever since I've come back here, um, so we used to not drink tap water at all. Like it used to always be like spring water or whatever. But I don't know, for the past like year or so, my parents have been drinking tap water again. I don't know. I think it's just because they couldn't afford it. But ever since I've been back here, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I can't,
at least get a good
to me,
filter.
water is the thing like that I've noticed like drastic issues with when it comes to my health. If I'm eating right and everything, it's so crazy to me the stuff that water does. Like just like the tap water in Toronto is so awful that yeah, I don't trust it. I do not trust it. I'd rather be dehydrated and drink milk in this time being until we get good water than continuously consume the tap water.
I uh, I just looked up to see if my zero water filter filtered out fluoride, and it can remove up to 99% of fluoride from the tap water. So
No, that's good.
um, it's good to know. And
It's pretty good.
I only, as you know, only use it for my coffee, but
Mm-hmm.
and use bottled the spring water for drinking. But yeah, been using that. Yeah, and I think I like it. So maybe I should
Yeah.
get one. It's just kind of
Yeah, yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of like the option is. For now, it's definitely gonna like I it's not expensive. I used to get those big, like jugs of water. Those big like kind of
Yeah,
gallons of like it's
5 gallons.
yeah, yeah. So they have at Walmart, they have a thing that's just the top. So you could turn
Oh
your
yeah, yeah,
jug
yeah. Yep,
into
yep,
like a
yep.
it's like
It's like an electric.
$30. It's like
Yep.
$30 to get that. I would have to charge it like every week, every 2 weeks
Okay.
to just and that's perfect. It's
Yeah,
not
do that.
expensive to get those big jugs. You
Yep.
save money and you don't need to get any of those like big water cooler dispenser things. You just get the $30 one at Walmart and it's good.
Yeah.
So now wrapping up, since we're on the topic of food, let's talk about the eggs again. Because I
Thought we
I I
were
have
done.
I have some sneaking suspicions, like conspiracy, like something that's going off in my head. That ain't right about this. Like, remember last week I mentioned that well, the last week we did the podcast, it's been like 3 weeks. Um that I think that there is a correlation with bird flu and also the fact that eggs just recently got released as being healthy and suddenly there is
Eggs,
bird flu.
eggs suddenly became healthy for you.
Suddenly. But yeah, I mean that's been happening for years now with eggs. It's like it's healthy for you, it's not healthy. It's healthy, so
I
it's not.
heard
Isn't
that there's
it?
something in the yolk that's like good for like preventing Alzheimer's. What's in it? Some sort of
The yolk is where all the
yeah.
minerals and the vitamins are. And it's funny because a lot of people say, "Oh, get rid of the yolk, eat the egg whites." Especially fitness people. It's like egg whites. Everything is egg whites. You have to get rid of the yolk. But the yolk is literally the thing that makes you healthy. And that's where all the cholesterol is, all the beautiful
Choline. That's
cholesterol.
what it was.
Yeah,
Choline being yeah high content of choline.
which
Um,
is very important for the
yeah.
body. Yeah. So, you told me that you also think that part of it is because Trump said that he wanted to make the cost of eggs lower and the cost of food lower in general.
I you know
And
I it would be one crazy conspiracy to
would it
then
though?
like yeah.
Like, would it though? That's the
Would
thing.
would they kill 100 million chickens just to fuck over
I think
Trump?
so. I
It's
honestly
possible.
believe
But
the,
the
co
thing
the
here's
COVID thing.
here's the thing though. Like I wouldn't even. I'd be like, all right, that's a little too uh
But that's
conspiracy. But
exactly
I
what
would.
they
Yeah, I would if it wasn't for the fact that people like my dad and other people, I hear it all the time from all these like far lefties. They constantly go, "Well, what about the price of eggs? I thought he was going to do something to bring the price of eggs down." They constantly say that. So I'm like, "Do you not get that they just killed 100 million chickens? Like, why are you saying that?" So obviously they're pushing this like the price of eggs are still very high, and like, but they're not mentioning they killed 100 million chickens
Yeah,
because of the
exactly.
supposed bird flu. Like,
Yeah,
and so
speaking of that, mention a little bit of that because I don't think people are understanding like that they the 100 million chickens thing.
I don't even know why they did that. I guess they had something to do. I don't know. There was let me see. There was the primary driver behind the recent increase in egg prices is the outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza, commonly known as the bird flu. Since its onset in 2022, the virus has led to the culling of approximately 159 million birds to prevent its spread. This significantly reducing the population of egg-laying hens and tightening egg supply. So, yeah, I don't know anything about the
But
bird. Like, what?
I just find it funny. I just find it funny that it's like nobody is seeing the correlation. Personally, there's one thing that I don't believe in, and I will always stand
Coincidences.
behind this is coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences because it's always there. It's always there. It's like, oh, it's funny how that happened and this happened, and that's just not the
And it's funny
case.
how people keep bringing up the price of eggs
But that's the thing. It's just
and
like,
don't know that they killed a bunch of chickens. It's really
and it's
weird.
and
Yeah,
it's specific to
it's very
eggs
specific.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
that's the funny thing. But
Like they
yes.
don't they don't mention like gas prices. They mention eggs.
Yeah, exactly. And also, not to mention that I've heard lots of talks about a new vaccine because of the bird flu that they're trying to implement now for people to take. They're saying
All
that
right.
we should be
You can keep it.
weary. We should be weary of what's going on and that we should also get protection for that as well. So that's yet another thing. But it's funny because again, people are starting to wake up a little bit because I saw a video about it and all the comments are like, "Yeah, we're not falling for this shit again."
Nice try, Diddy.
So, you know, that's just one of those one of those things.
Well, anything else before we go? Oh,
No.
I do have one quick little thing because we talked about like the banks and the unbanking sort of stuff and the
Yeah.
centralization of that sort of stuff. I have a whole chapter about that in my book. Where is it? Follow the Money by Bro Bites because I don't use my real name in it, but you can get it on Amazon. The whole chapter all on that if you want to read more about it. It's all about you know, corruption in the government and a little bit about what's leading you to Bitcoin. So, yeah, check it out if you want. Nice little plug there for me.
Literally.
It's very cheap. I made it as cheap as possible because I just want people to get access to the information. It's only $6.
That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
great.
So
Now to round up the episode. So actually today is Valentine's Day. So this is the fun activity for Valentine's Day. I heard that Frank actually has a really pretty girlfriend. That's what I heard. Have no idea who she is. But whoever.
she's got big dreams though.
Anyways, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful week and have a great Valentine's, no matter what it is that you guys are doing. Um, some of you guys are going to be watching this late, but today my plan is to serenade some people on TikTok. And I'm going to be serenading the people that are single and the people who are in relationships, playing both love songs and breakup songs.
You better
So
get this up quick then, because
ain't nobody's gonna see this. It's gonna be late, but just for the people to know in the future, now my plug that I do lives on TikTok every single week where you guys could get to chat with me as well
and
as
listen
hear
to our
some
music. Yeah.
music. So, yes. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week, we're going to have some more detailed information for you guys. Per usual, we like to occasionally wing things.
Maybe we should get a guest on here at some point. That's what we're gonna
Most
work towards.
definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
This
let us know
is,
who you'd like us to get on here as guests.
yeah, comment below if you guys have any ideas whatsoever. Even if it's people with opposing ideas
Yep.
of us, we're able to talk to
Would love to
absolutely
debate someone.
everybody about it.
All right.
Okay, see you guys next
Bye.
week.